past few months. And first, before we get into it, I'll actually give you a guarantee. So it's a life back guarantee that you can have, if this doesn't work for you, you can have your old life back. So whatever your life was like before you walked into this room and started this meetup, you can still continue that life, right? It's guaranteed. No loss, doesn't matter. But if you actually embrace some changes and learn about what we're talking about and go out and to practice the track that I'm going to give you and the principles that we talk about, things could actually change. Because the smallest things you do consistently, every single day, create the biggest changes. People think you have to do these huge things. You're waiting for this one big thing to happen. You get $1 million, my whole life will change. It's not happening. It's not coming unless you put in the work, little things consistently over time. It's called the compound effect. And those are the things that change your life. If you want to go to the gym and look better, it doesn't happen if you go once, right? You go to the gym and work out, you come back, look in the mirror, and there's nothing that's happened. Nothing has changed. You go the second time, come back, look in the mirror, nothing has changed, and even worse, now you're in pain. But 90 days after you first started going to the gym, then you look in the mirror, and there are changes that happen. Why? Because that's the compound effect. Little things you do consistently over time. Same thing with your brain, it's a muscle. And if you want to change your life, you have to actually work on your mind to make changes. It's not easy, but it's simple. Simple concept, but not easy to do, because what's easy to do is also easy not to do. And plenty of people choose the not to do, which is the herd. I don't understand why, if you have to go to work, most of us do, you have a job, you have to travel, and everybody gets on the beltway. There are shortcuts to most places. You can take back roads. And the people, I think, that are most creative, intuitive, and make the biggest change are the people that take the back roads. Actually find a shortcut, find a way around, or even if it takes longer. You're just not getting on with everyone else. Everybody wants to be like everybody else. That's the problem with social media, is that you look at the pictures and you see the videos, you're like, oh, their life is better than mine. You don't know the backstage. Because everyone you will ever meet in your entire life is going through something. Right? So, it's actually now endorsed by Governor Hogan. I met the governor last week, and he actually, I did his story about 2 years ago. I brought it with me, actually signed it, right? So I said, hey, I got this meetup I'm doing, Change Your Mind, Change Your Life. He's like, oh, that sounds good. So all right, it's endorsed, right? So the governor's endorsed it. He said, that's a good idea. I'm choosing those. So, but here's, like I talked about, so everyone you will ever meet in your entire life is going through something. I don't know what you're up against, I don't know what you're facing, but here's what I do know. You've got something special, you've got greatness in you, and I know it's possible that you can live your dream. And we all can. Everything is possible if you put your mind to it. Reality is your perception of it. What you see is real, it's just your perception. Is it or isn't it? You've grown up, you've been told, you've learned, you've been told what's not right, you've been told what isn't possible. People tell you all the time about the things you can't do. What about the things you can do? So it's based on faith. You have to have faith in order to make changes. You have to visualize something and have faith that it will become reality if I just work toward it. And that's very difficult to do. And it won't become possible unless you work on you. You got to peel away the layers of what everyone has taught you and bend reality a little bit to get to the core of who you are and what your purpose is. The way you do that is little changes over time consistently. We're going to talk about these principles. So this is the greatest challenge you have in making change, because you have to actually look in the mirror every day and say, I love you. Try it. Look in the mirror, get up in the morning and look at yourself in the mirror 3 times, 5 times and say, I love you, Mark. You can say, Mark. I love you. I love you. I love you. It gets easier over time. And it's not boastful, it's not cocky. It's reality, because if you don't love you, guess what? Who won't love you? Everyone else. Because you get what you give. And if you give off that I'm not worthy, I'm not enough, I can't do this, I can't do that, I'll never be what it is I want to be or who I was meant to be, then you won't, because you're talking yourself out of it. And the universe will conspire on your behalf to whatever it is that you believe. The most powerful thing you can say is, I am blank. I am blank. In the now. Not I will, not I might, not if this happens or that happens, but I am. I am abundant. I am wealthy, I am prosperous, I am loving, I am giving. I learned something a couple weeks ago, listening to some audio. Someone said that God only says yes. So whatever you ask of some higher power, say yes. God, I wish I was rich. Yes. You wish you were. How about I am? If you can't say no, you can only say yes. God, I wish I had a better family. God, I wish I had a better job. I do have a better job. I have a great family. I am a great father. I am a great mother. I am. Speak in the positive in the now, and those things will manifest themselves because you are not only asking God for what is reality and present in your visualization in your life, but you're telling the universe this is what you want, and this is what you are, and this is who you are, and that will come into reality. So, we're going to talk about a couple new things here for the people that have been here before. We'll go through the principles quickly, but also talk about finding your why, which is not as big a thing as you think it is, and happiness. I'm rereading the happiness advantage. Not just rereading it, but soaking it into my being so that I like to live the stuff that I read. But you got to read it more than once. If you just read a book one time, it can inspire you. It's kind of like skipping a stone across the water. It doesn't go deep. Well, you got to go deep in order to make it part of your being. So rereading it and highlighting it, I'm going to go over some of those things because happiness is key to everything. And you can be happy in any moment, in whatever it is that you're doing, and whatever it is that's happening in your life. It's possible to be happy. So, let's talk about the principles. Number one is health and exercise. You've got to use your body to change your mind. Just like we talked about motion in the beginning. If you're not moving around, it's not going to make anything happen in your brain. So you have to create motion. Exercise is key. Eating healthy is key. Putting good stuff inside of you to help your brain. When your brain wants a banana, you give it a Big Mac, it's counterintuitive to what the brain really wants. You are what you eat. You are what you do physically. You have to do something. It's the foundation of everything. And this saying, we've talked about this before, that the man with good health has 1,000 wishes. The man without good health has only one. We've talked about this at every meetup. I brought up that quote. And every time I brought it up, I thought about someone who's in the room with us tonight. And she's joining us because she can tell you, because she lives this, that the only thing that you want, but you don't feel right, is to be healthy. Wouldn't you like to have 1,000 wishes rather than one? But she's overcome, and she's going to share her story with us. So Ashley's joining us today. I'm honored that Ashley's here. I've known Ashley pretty well now for about a year. And Ashley has what she's going to explain to you as an autoimmune disease, but it goes much deeper than that. Ashley has been dealing with this for 2 years now, over 2 years, and recently, just a month ago, had to have heart surgery because she got an infection in the port coming back from her Make-A-Wish trip. And what an incredible comeback, Ashley. You're here. We're so honored you're here. So I'm gonna have you talk with us for a few minutes because, like I talked about, health is so important. Come on up here. Everyone give Ashley a hand. Great enough. So I want to inspire you that no matter what is happening in your life, right, you can come back from that, and health is so important, and the fight to become healthy, it's not easy, right? So give us Ashley, tell us the name of, what's been going on the past couple of years. What's it called?
Basically, my autonomic nervous system doesn't function like most people.
What are the challenges of that?
I have seizures. I can't keep any food down. So I did have a port, but I got endocarditis, and I had to have my heart valve reconstructed. Heart problems,
It's been a tough road because 2 years ago you were healthy and didn't expect any of this to happen. But I can see watching you and what's been going on, just how you fight back and overcome. I mean, you're a beautiful girl. You still get up, you go out, you have friends, what's it like? I mean, what's it like to have to battle through this? Can you share what it goes on in your head?
I've wanted to give up a million times, but I've never do because everybody else would be affected in ways that I couldn't work with. And I mean, I could sleep in bed every day and do nothing and feel bad for myself, but I'd rather go to school and do things I love, even if it's not what I want to do. Or if it's, I want to go to college, but I still have that dream, and I'm still going to follow it. It's just not going to be as easy as it could.
But you got the dream and you're pursuing it, so that's, you know, you're fighting back against all of this. I mean, I just think it's amazing. If I saw Ashley, I was there when you woke up from the heart surgery. In that moment, I mean, things didn't look great, and then 3 weeks later, I was with you a couple weeks ago when we went to the farmer's market under 83. I was sitting across the table. I remember saying to you, I can't believe how great you look and what they're doing, considering that a few weeks before she was laying in the hospital bed with tubes coming out of everywhere, and it just had someone go into your heart and repair it. And, you know, you inspire me every day, really. Just watching you fight through it has been incredible. And you have a dream, right? You want to go to college, so the dream keeps you going, right?
I want to help others. I want to
Be a doctor. That's great. That's awesome. And why wouldn't you? Because actually, I gave her got it here. Chair's So I remember I heard this and I printed it out and gave it to Ashley, and we put it in a frame. But the message says, your struggle will be your gift that the world will fall in love with. And that's the truth, because we all struggle with things, and that struggle is what will inspire other people. You're here for a reason, Ash, and you're going to prove to everyone that this is the reason. You're overcoming it already. You're fighting back. You're back in school, right? Partially, but it's your last year. You're going to graduate.
Yeah.
I am graduating, right?
Yes, I am walking across that stage.
There you go. So it's the I am, right? And the I am is going to keep you going. So it's just, but I know that, not having health is just tough, and you tell us, it's when you can't have your health and you can't do things that other people can do, and that other people think they have problems, right, and challenges. And Ashley's 17 years old and has her whole life in front of her, and her greatest challenge, is this right now. Not that there won't be others. We all, everyone deals with different things, but to see you at this young age overcome all of this and fight back, and I think you're amazing. So.
Well, I would love if the 15 doctors I have came.
We're all hoping for that. So I believe that they will, and that you're going to overcome this and beat it, and you're going to look back on this years from now, and you'll be the person standing on stage telling your story of how you overcame this rare, disease, and showed the world that you could come back from it. And a lot of it is up here. And I know you fight that, but like you said, you want to give up, but you don't. You don't. And that's the most incredible thing. You get angry, you get sad. I've seen you do that, but you keep going. It's so inspiring.
My mom.
Your mom and your brother. Whatever it is that keeps you going, that's what you focus on, right? And it's important, and it's love. So I love you, kid. Thank you for doing this. So, as you can see, they come up with these lines, and I guess you could call them cliche, have that, you talk about it and then you see it in reality, right? And you realize how incredible the world can be, and how tough it can be, and the struggle you have to go through. So, that was actually just a few weeks ago. And to come back now, and this was the picture first day of school, just this week. So, incredible. Thank you for doing that, Ash. So proud of you. So, continue with health here, right? So connected that you give it back. So you got to eat well, because because if you want to have a strong mind, you have to have strong habits. It's habits and rituals that'll change everything for you. Habits and rituals. Like I said, the Big Mac is not the thing you should be giving your body, but it is, you're telling yourself you want to lose weight, or you want to think better, you want to be better, you want to live longer. It's got to be stuff that's really going to create the energy that you need to do the things you want to do to have a great life. I mean, who here wants to live to be 100? John and I. I mean, my goal is I'm living to 102. I have a great-grandfather who lived to 101. Records are made to be broken, right? In fact, it's part of my passcode and everything that I do, so if you can figure out the other 4 numbers, we're breaking everything that I got. And I have 102 in everything that I do, because that's my focus, that's my goal. Again, I got to visualize it, so I put it in front of my eyes every single day. It's part of when I log into 12 different things, it's always part of my code. So when my bank account empties tomorrow, I'm gonna lie. So if you think there's no time to get fit, every human being is 168 hours in their week. I don't care who you are or what you do, those are the number of hours you have. So if you actually exercise 30 minutes a day, that's 2% of the minutes of your year that you've actually invested in exercising. If you want to overachieve, an hour will be 4% of the minutes of your year. That's not a lot of time, so don't tell me you don't have time. Who here exercises? I should see every hand go up. Every hand should go up, if you're even taking a walk. So if you want to live a long life, you're going to have to put in some effort to make your body better. I had a talk with someone yesterday. It was a health insurance appointment, and the guy just turned 60. And he's like, I've heard that he said that after 60, like genetics don't play a part. He said it's really up until that age. That's what someone had told him. Maybe he read, I don't know what. But he said it's all the things that you do up until that point that then you're on the other side of it. So if you don't take care of yourself leading up to that point, how's the rest of your life going to go? It made me think about that, though, too. I mean, again, when you're 18 years old, you think what you're doing doesn't matter, but it does later in life, right? So think of the power of 3 when it comes to being healthy: water, sleep, and walk. You can at least walk. Take a walk. You don't have to leave your house or apartment to actually exercise. You can drop and do push-ups. You can do sit-ups. You can go on YouTube and do an exercise class. That's what I've been doing with Pilates. I mean, I got my new friend here, Amy. It's Body by Amy, and she does a YouTube channel that does Pilates. I don't have to join a club. I don't have to spend any money if I don't want to. Do it right there on the floor with a yoga mat for 30 minutes. Why not? It's all right there. It's never a lack of resources. It's only a lack of resourcefulness. Why are you smiling? about me doing Pilates? So that's the truth. It's never a lack of resources, it's only a lack of resourcefulness. Everything you need is out there, and everything you need is inside you. But in order to grab some things that someone else can help you, it's just going online. It's just picking up a book. It's all there. You just have to find it. If you're not resourceful enough, right, you're not going to find it. You can't just give up. Just Google it, right? I can tell my kids when they ask me a question I don't know, Google it. It seems to work. Because all the information is now at our fingertips. That's the power of the internet. That's the power of us all being connected, is that it's all right there. There's really no excuses. So the other thing I'll say, though, is that no matter what you do in terms of eating when it comes to health, you can't outwork your eating habits. So you can't get on the elliptical or the treadmill for 30 minutes, burn 400 calories, and eat 4,000 during the day. It's not going to work. The math doesn't play out. So you've got to combine the two. Next principle. But again, health is the foundation of everything. As we learned with Ashley, being healthy will create a full life. And when you're not healthy, and you want a full life, that's the one thing you think about is how can I have a fuller life? You're going there. So, but principle 2, reading books. Books are the plane, the train, and the road. They are the destination, the journey. They are home. Everyone should be reading. You can't change your life if you're not reading. It's not going to happen. It's not. Because you can't think of all the ideas that are in your head. You have to go out and get them. Again, never a lack of resources, only a lack of resourcefulness. When I was picking up books today to bring in, of the books that I read or some in my library, like, okay, I want to have affirmations, positive affirmations. A book here, you can do it. I read it, right? So now I know how to think positively. Inside Steve's brain, Steve Jobs. I want to learn about some guy who changed the world. There's a book about that. I can pick it up and read about it and gain 1 or 2 items of information that made Steve Jobs tick and go, oh, maybe I should think like that. Turning pro. I want to become a professional in whatever it is that I do, whether it's writing, insurance, in whatever industry. There's a book about that to teach me how to turn pro. I got a friend who's now a millionaire after reading this book. He was already on his way, but then he embraced the principles in here. It just lit up his world because he read about it, and it changed everything. I want to learn about making money. I want to handle my money better. You're a badass at making money, right? There's a book about that. I want to learn how to grow. 15 invaluable laws of growth. There's a book about that. I mean, everything you need. I want to start my own business. The Entrepreneur Roller Coaster, Darren Hardy, about what it's like to run your own ship. Ship. I'm just saying the word. But there's a book about that. I mean, you name it, there's a book. The magic, gratitude. I want to learn to be more grateful. I want to practice gratitude. There's a book about that. Everything you need. I want to have more inspiration. Man's Search for Meaning, Viktor Frankl. Nazi concentration camp survivor. We'll learn about battles of staying alive when there's no reason to live. Great book. So, Think and Grow Rich. I want to have a better relationship. The 5 love languages. Business. Fanatical prospecting. I mean, there's nothing that you can't read that won't enhance your life and your mind. So why aren't you doing it? Why aren't other people doing it? Why aren't more people doing it? Because they say they don't have time to read. That's the excuse. I don't have time. It's very simple. You're practicing it, right? You're reading a book a month. So 5 pages in the morning, 5 pages at night, 10 pages a day, 30 days in the month, that's 300 pages. You can't tell me you don't have time to read a book. Who here doesn't have 10 minutes a day, which is about how long this will take? If you don't have 10 minutes, you don't have a life. No one is that busy. You're not. You're lying. You just haven't made the time. It's an excuse. Unless you're dying, right? Or you're being held physically down so you can't pick up the book or listen to one, there's no excuse. Right? Who here is, you raise your hand about reading. It helps change, right? It helps you give other ideas. It expands your world, expands your mind. You think about things you never thought of before, or you learn things that you want to learn and someone else is teaching it to you because you actually picked up a book. Or it just inspires you. Or if you want to read fiction, fine. Fantasy's cool. The movie's never good as the book. You actually read the book and the pictures in your mind, or your pictures, your vision of what that book's about, the director's vision is something different. It's kind of cool, right? Because you get to read the same words as someone else and see completely different pictures. Reality is perception. Perception is reality, right? So, we do have time. This is a great quote from Groucho Marx. So he said, I find television very educating. Every time somebody turns on the set, I go in the other room and read a book. Which, by the way, right, is a really good idea, especially with the news. We talked about that before. You're watching the news all day long, you should just leave now, because this is never going to work. If you're listening to the news all day long, this is never going to work, because you are ingraining yourself in negativity, trouble, you name it. This isn't going to work, because someone every day is telling you that the world sucks. The world doesn't suck. That everything bad is happening every single day and you can't get away from it. The world's never going to change. You're right, because you haven't done anything to change. Nothing. If that's all you're doing. 24-hour news is like it's a disease. We'll have a disease if we do that. Whoever watches CNN all day long, or even Fox, whatever it is, you're killing yourself. Old people love it. And then they just complain about stuff. Because that's their perception of the world. They're being told by the media that this is the way things are going. If you just shut it off and actually embrace life and look at life and say, oh my God, it's actually a miracle, things might be different. You can live your life 2 ways, that nothing is a miracle or that everything is a miracle. You get to make the choice. You're a human being. You get to make choices. God gave us this power, which is good or bad, of choice. He never takes that away from you. You get to decide. You get to make the choice. The choice to change is yours. Principle 3, gratitude. The most powerful thing you can do. Simple, powerful. talk about the power of three, because I've explained my own practice is that I take a minute or two in the morning as the coffee's brewing to think about the three things that happened the day before and say, thank you, thank you, thank you. Close my eyes in gratitude. And then think about three things that are happening that day that haven't happened yet, visualizing them as being successful and saying thank you in advance of them happening. So what am I doing? I'm sending a message to the universe that this is going to work out. One of those was the meetup today, and sitting with Ashley. I thought about that. I thought it went okay. In fact, I thought it went better than okay. Right? I just listened, you talked. So, but you have to do that. Gratitude is the simplest, most powerful thing that will change your mind, because if you do it consistently, it's going to change the way you think about the world and how you visualize the world and attraction of other things to you. So who here is practicing gratitude? Have you done more since we've started this meetup? Yes, no, maybe so? Yes?
Yeah.
I mean, it's pretty simple. Anyone here have a gratitude journal besides John? Good, it's really important. Write it down. When you write things down, they become real. When you think about them, they're dreams. A dream written down is a goal. Because if you just dream it and think about it, it just rolls around in your head and the next thought comes in. Ideas in your head are like marbles. It's because they're just rolling around. And as soon as the next idea comes in, it pushes the other one out. Other thing about gratitude is it fills the space in your brain. So you can't, in your mind, have two things exist at once. You can't experience fear and misery and be grateful at the same time. You can have fear and misery and not be grateful. Be grateful and not experience fear and misery. It pushes the fear and misery out of the way, at least for the time being. Consistent practice over that is going to continue to push that out of the way. So now you're not scared anymore about taking a chance, about taking a risk, about doing something bigger, about changing your life for the better, because you're grateful. It also attracts it to you. So there's two powerful things going on.
Explain your gratitude journal. Yeah, explain it.
I have a gratitude journal. I have it's a program called Living Your Best Year Ever. So I record things that happened that day.
Okay.
Write down, again, three things that happened the day before that I'm grateful for, and three things that are going to happen that day. I do it in the morning. You can do it at night, too. But that should be the first thing you do in the morning. The last thing you do at night is gratitude. Gratitude is the attitude that changes everything. And so pick three things. Even if it was, I felt the wind blow. I got up and I could breathe. On the worst day of your life, you could find three things to be grateful for. Someone you love passes. You can still be grateful for the fact they were in your life. Yes, it's sad, but there's some gratitude there, hopefully, that they existed. Even if the relationship wasn't what you wanted it to be, and you're grieving the loss of that relationship that never worked out, you're still grateful they lived. Maybe you're grateful now that you appreciate that. Whatever it is, there's always room for gratitude. Always room for gratitude. It's never closed off to you, and you have complete control over that. Stuff is going to happen to you. Shit's going to go down. This is life. Right? But you can still be grateful. You've got a great mom, you've got a great brother, father, right? Just because you don't have your health doesn't mean you have other things. You don't have other things. So, principle number 4, relationships. You're the product of the 4 or 5 people you spend the most time with. Where they're going, you're going. It's the group. It's your posse. If your posse's poor, so is your life. The people you hang around with complain, bitch, and think everything's miserable, that's your life. Because they are influencing you continually. And I don't care if you try to fight them off. If they're always in your head, once they're in your head, you're dead. If they're, however, going in a different direction, which is up and forward, then so are you. If they're empowering you, if they're holding you responsible and accountable. I have a mastermind group that does that. That pushes me higher. I sit down with them. In fact, tomorrow morning is my meeting, 6:30 in the morning. Every other Friday we meet until 8:30. Go over our past 2 weeks. We have 3 banner goals for the year. We talk about the goals. We talk about what's going on in our life. What challenges do we have? How can we help each other? What are successes? What are failures? Cool thing is, it doesn't matter what the 2 weeks were like. There's always something to be grateful for. Always something that was actually good. You made progress, and progress is just so fulfilling. I don't care how small it is. it's the coolest thing ever. Because that's life. It's forward motion, right? Forward growth. And even the smallest progress will drive you there. So we talked about before, you break your friends down into 3 categories. Actually, you'll like this. You've got a 3-minute friend, a 3-hour friend, a 3-week friend. The 3-minute friend is the person you have a conversation with, and within 3 minutes or less, they're bringing you down. They're complaining, they're miserable, it ain't working out. We all laugh because we know we have these people in our
You know
lives.
anybody like that?
Your goal was not to spend 3 weeks with a 3-minute friend. Because that's where your life's going to go. Weeks turn into months, turn into years, and now you've lost 5, 10, 15 years because you spent all your time listening to this person bitch about life and complain. Never looking at the good side, always seeing the negative.
Never,
Got to distance yourself.
never ask you how your life is.
Never ask you how your life is. Right. 3-hour friends, someone you get together with every once in a while, have lunch, breakfast, whatever, go to a movie, sporting event, and you see them a couple months later, everything's great, right? You spend some time with them, it was cool. It's fun to hang out with them, talk with them, catch up. The 3-week friend is the person you want to spend a lot of time with. Because they're empowering you. You're empowering them. You're having a great time. Everyone's thinking about the future and what they can do, how they can help others, how they can change the world. That's the person you want to spend the most time with. Someone you could go away with for 3 weeks and never even think about the fact that it would be a bad time. You would have the greatest time of your life. Those are the people you want to spend the most time with. You also don't want to be the smartest person in the room. I was at a networking meeting this morning, D&I, and someone brought up a good point. You should always network up. A lot of us bring our peers to networking groups, but we don't go to the next level because we feel intimidated by that. But you want to be inspired. If you're always the smartest person in the room, you're not going to grow. You got to have people that are smarter than you to learn from. That's why you read books. I mean, I have mentors I've never met. Darren Hardy, I listen to every day. This Darren Daly. Never met the guy, but he's the biggest influence in my life the past 7 years. I listened to him, I read his books, did a program with him. Actually, I wrote a blog about him, and when he left, he was publishing Success Magazine. I wrote a blog about when he announced he was leaving, because he used to have these CDs in the magazine. And I put them in, I listened to them all month long. That was the best part of the magazine, was the CD, because he'd interview people. He actually taught me to be a better interviewer for my blog. But then he announced he was leaving, and I wrote a blog about it. I got up with Huffington Post, and he saw it, I guess, because he tweeted out something that said, "Hey, thank you, Mark, for the interview." That made me smile. Like, holy shit. The guy actually saw my stuff. I still have that tweet. I saved it on my phone. It's so cool. And you don't know when those stuff, that kind of thing's going to happen, because I listen to him all the time, decide to write a blog, and then boom, you get a response. If I hadn't been doing the other things, that wouldn't have happened. Something that made me feel really good. So, principle number 5. So actually, let me ask a question. So anyone here changed their relationships at all since we've been doing this? At all? Yes. Rash. So, and it affects your life, right?
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. Joking around those things.
It's not easy, and some of those are people that you love and love you, right? But you got to keep a little distance. If all they're doing is complain, you got to, not spend so much time with them. You don't have to cut them out of your life, but you got to limit the time, and then find the people you want to spend the time with who are actually people that are going where you want to go.
I always share a lot of this stuff from this meetup with them, and half the time they're just like, "Oh my gosh, you're just the
Why are they here?
I know.
Because they're under. You're over, they're under, right? So they should be here. You should come and see if it helps at all. Again, you got a life back guarantee. Tell them, if it doesn't work, you can have your old life back. No harm, no foul. So, principle number 5, visualization. You can see it in your mind, you can hold it in your hands. That's a picture of one of my glass beach houses. But everyone who's been here knows that's one of my visualizations of the glass beach house I'm going to have. In fact, I was at the beach this weekend with my youngest daughter, and I had the same thought that I'm already 50% there in the glass beach house. Because the beach already exists. I just got to build the house. Work, make the money, build the house. You're all invited. We'll do the walkthrough together. But, visualization is important. So, a million dreams of all the people in the world, everyone has a dream. What do you visualize? This is actually the words from, if you saw The Greatest Showman. Great song. Great movie, by the way. I had a whole conversation with some woman outside Redbox. I was at the beach this weekend. She was getting moving. I'm like, oh. I bought the movie, I love it that much, but she's like, oh my God, it's so great. Hugh Jackman. It's funny, but that's a great quote from the movie, from the lyrics of the song. But who here visualizes? You said you visualize, right? What do you visualize?
The day, I want my day to be, then besides that, I want my entire future to be.
What you're visualizing your entire future? Good. You gotta think. Go ahead.
I have one more that's very powerful. I visualize the day I die.
And what is that like?
Do I like it to be, everybody I want to be there, and the impact I've already made. So, I recommend it. Sounds morbid, but it's powerful.
It's one of the most powerful things you can actually do is write your own eulogy. But that's great. So visualizing something that's going to be an important day, right? So but visualizing what you want to accomplish, what you want to have, who you want to become, living up to your potential, all these visualizations in your minds. Take the time to do that. I mean, I do it when I pray in the morning, and it's a powerful thing to keep doing it over and over again, right? The abundance in my life, the wealth in my life, all those things that are happening, and because I'm visualizing them. Meetup didn't exist back in January, but I visualized trying to help other people, and if one person came, it was worth it. We have 266 members of the group. The funny thing is, not funny, but if 10% of the people show up to a meetup, right? If we can hold 50 or 60 people in this room, it's kind of like sales. Been in sales for 19 years. 20% of the agents run 80% of the business. It's never changed. So why only 10 or 20% come when you join a group, why you're not showing up to the one thing that would actually make the most impact in your life? Of all, if you can join the meetup, I send out almost daily emails and videos and things to help keep you motivated, but I would think the most impactful thing would be to come here and engage, learn and talk, and see other people here too and go, oh, I'm not the only person who wants to do this. Why 100% of the people aren't here, doing it, I don't know. But that's human nature, unfortunately, because people aren't trying to live to their potential and make changes. And it's all here. You listen to Wayne Dyer, he talks about the fact that Wayne, he's a great person to listen to, Wayne Dyer, D-Y-E-R. He passed away like 2 years ago, actually in August. But he says you have everything that you need. Everything you need is already inside of you. Everything that's happening is perfect. It might not feel perfect, but it is. It's supposed to happen this way. And if you truly believe that you are a spiritual being having a human experience, not a human being having a spiritual experience, right? You're a spirit and the body's just wrapped around it. If you actually get that deep and think that clear, that clarity and peace, a lot of good things can happen. Not easy to do. So the world's trying to tell you different. So visualization is huge. Number 6, meditation. Slowing down your mind changes everything. And people, again, who say, I don't have time to meditate, if you took another 10 minutes to meditate, 10 minutes to read, 10 minutes to meditate, now we're at 20. Spend 30 minutes working out, you're at 50. Spend 10 minutes eating. Something good. Who here meditates? Has tried it? It doesn't have to be, sometimes people have trouble with it. They just can't shut off the world and shut their mind down for 10 minutes, but that's okay. It's a practice. You practice meditation. That's why it's called a practice, because no one ever really gets it right. The people that do are the very far and few between. The ones that write the books, hold the meetings, hold these groups. Even if you're, I meditated today and I didn't completely shut down. I thought about this and thought about some things I wanted to say and some ideas. And lots of times when you come out of it, you think of something, bless you, that you didn't think about going into it, which is cool. Open up your eyes. But slowing down your mind is so important because you can't get to that peaceful state if you're always in motion, always running around. Watching TV is not meditating. Even reading a book is not meditating because your mind's still churning. It should be. Hopefully you are actually, understanding what it is that you're reading and gaining knowledge. So meditation is huge. I do most of it actually when I pull up into the office and I just park my car. I'm facing this field. There's a huge barn out of McDonough School. Our office building is right next to it. I look at the barn, close my eyes. Sometimes I'll put on meditation music on my phone. Many times I'll just shut my eyes. This time of year I'm keeping the air conditioning on so I don't die. Right? Heat stroke. But doing that before I walk in the office, and things happen. A couple times this week I visualized writing 2 policies that day. guess what? I wrote 2 policies that day. So thinking about it and having it come to fruition, I think about it the next day, I'm like, oh, it happened. It's funny how I thought about it, I meditated on it, and it became reality. There's some truth to this. Maybe it's a little magic. Gratitude, visualization, meditation. So focus on that, because that really will help in so many ways you can't imagine. So, and the benefits of slowing down your mind, reducing stress, encouraging a healthy lifestyle, increasing happiness, slowing down aging. I'm 85. I look pretty good for 85. And it makes you want to come back to the meetup, right? If you meditate, slow down, you're like, hey, I'm going to come back and share how that affected you. Who here has one story from meditation? Anyone ever have anything happen when they meditated, after they meditated? I know we had one woman a couple months ago said she always falls asleep, which is fine. I'm going to take a little power nap to make sure you got an alarm set. I set an alarm. Not because I'm going to fall asleep, but if not, I would sit there for like an hour. And that alarm on my phone always jolts me from out of it. But anyone here? No? I thought you're all meditating.
I can speak to my experience. Like
Sure.
when I do it, I feel like I get this sort of like high state after I do it long enough. If I feel like I do it quite like right, like the way I need to do it.
You said right.
If I do it the way I feel like I need to do it, which is kind of like closing off ideas from my mind. Like I'll let them go for a little bit, and then I'll snap back and realize I'm in an idea and I need to become present.
If you lose yourself, right? That's cool. I've lost. I mean, I felt that. You don't know where you are. I don't know why I thought the things I thought that were just weird when I came out of it. And it's pretty cool though, because your mind wants you to do that. It wants that. Your subconscious like gnawing at you. It's all your soul talking to you. Your soul keeps talking to you, and unless you answer that call, it's just going to keep eating at you until you finally do. That's finding your purpose. We'll talk about that. So, I mean, we can practice now if y'all want to shut your eyes for just a minute. All right, just close them for a minute. Just close them for a minute. Let's take a minute to do this. We're more than halfway through. Close your eyes. Try to think about nothing. Open them. Feels good, right? Just to stop for a minute. So multiply that times 10 or 20 or 30 or 60, you know. It has a real effect on your body, on your mind, right? Change your mind, change your life, your heart, everything, your soul. I mean, everything just slows down. We need that. Our spirit needs that. Helps you believe, too. I believe it helps you believe. Believe in the universe, believe in a higher power, believe that anything is possible, because when you're meditating, you're in another place many times. So it's not the open, wide-eyed world that you're looking at all the time. It's just swirling around you, and all these things are happening in constant motion in front of you. You don't even know if you can control it or change it, but you know the one thing you could do is change yourself. Take control of you, and other things will happen. So talk about this. Anyone ever heard this line before? You can tell me who came up with it, who said it.
Mark Twain.
Yeah, that's right. 2 most important days in your life: the day you were born and the day you find out why. So in the middle of all these principles, I want to talk about this, something we haven't really talked about, because my why is that second screen that I showed you today. I positively impacted the lives of 1 billion people. And it wasn't something I sat there and thought about for 5 years and all of a sudden said, oh, I'll just do this. What I felt, what I looked at in terms of what it is I want to do with my life, why I'm here, my why. And I do it like I talked about in the beginning. I've done a couple different ways. So it's the writing, it's the speaking, it's the insurance, it's helping and serving. And so we're also connected. Why wouldn't it be 1 billion? If you can do something, and if you can actually utilize the gifts and talents that you have in a way that help other people in such a grand way, then why wouldn't it affect everyone? I look at people like Michael Jackson. those who've been to the Meetup before know, it was like my all-time most influential music experience. He turned 60, like, he would have been 60 last week. I was born in 1958. I saw someone text me, it was his birthday on the 29th. I'm like, wow, 60 years old. But think about what he did before things got a little crazy, but he was experiencing his why because music was inside of him. And he learned to do it in such a way that it touched the entire world. I'm fascinated by people who become the most famous people in the world. It's not because they pushed other people, it's because they pulled them, because they attracted them, because their gifts and talents were that big, and they found a way to use them on such a grand scale that no one could ignore them. Everyone in the world knew who Michael Jackson was. Because music's universal, and the fact that he did it in such a soulful way, because it was all he knew, all he could experience, all he wanted to give, and where he lost himself was when he tried to be like other people, right? He lost himself after Thriller and tried to do what he thought the marketplace wanted instead of what was in his soul. That's when things went crazy. But before that, he was tapping into his why. So ask yourself this question. Who here knows what their purpose is? Or have you thought about it?
I keep saying I have to find a new purpose because my purpose was to raise someone else's child, and I've done that since she was 3. But then someone said to me recently, she's still your purpose though, because you're still her mother, you're still there, you're still raising her. So I thought it was like, oh, now she's 22, I have to find a new purpose, but we'll see if I'll find something. Another one. Well, now I have another dream of doing a nonprofit. It's my new profit. Right. I've had that dream for a long time, and I finally came up with an idea 2 weeks ago.
And what is that idea?
It is going to be, so my friend's daughter has Phelan-McDermott syndrome. It's a rare disease, so I came up with this idea that she tells me about, like, they go to these conferences, like, every 2 years, they have, like, everybody gets together for the syndrome, and they go, there's families that can't afford to do that. There's families that can't afford to go to the support group. So that was my, like, first focus, was to raise money and help these families that have children of rare diseases be able to go get the support they need, be able to do it. But then as talking to her some more, we came up with a little bit more of an idea where when she was at the conference, people came with like things to get rid of. Like if their child had a helmet, they outgrew it. So another child that size could use a helmet. They can't afford it. They can't afford different medical supplies. So we're gonna incorporate all that and do where we collect like medical supplies from people that are not using them anymore and donate them to families that need it. But that's the thing now, but now I've listened to a couple podcasts where I need like a team. Because I can't, I'm not like good at like budgets, I'm not good at all that kind of stuff. So now I've like been talking to some people and trying to put something together. So I'm like, I think we can try to do this by February, but I'm doing it slowly. But that was I've always had a nonprofit dream, so.
That's great. All it takes is that one idea. You know, you just need the idea. You won't be able to manifest the entire idea yourself. A dream needs a team, right? And so you're
That's
gonna
it.
have.
I've learned that on the like, cause they're like, you have to fill out all these tax forms. I'm like, some of this is like over my.
So you find the people, attracting people to you if they like the idea, and that, I don't know why they wouldn't, because it sounds really cool. But you talked about in the beginning, your purpose was raising someone else's child, but now you're gonna have all these other children. So maybe that's just a.
My second purpose.
Right. It's just your purpose on a grander scale. It's not one person, now it could be all these children.
Right, and I kept saying I wanted to do a nonprofit, but it had to be something that like had meaning to me, like someone. And Alexis and me are very like, I've always had a close relationship with Alexis, and she's 22 now too. And I don't know, it's just something that finally clicked in my head.
That's awesome.
And I was after seeing the documentary from Rachel Hollis. Have you ever heard of her?
Go on, watch.
Rachel Hollis is this whole new this person that she's like a multimedia thing that has come out with something. And we saw her movie, and I was just like, I'm made for more. I need to figure this out. I'm gonna find, and like it popped in my head like 2 weeks after.
But you mentioned podcasts too, so you're listening to.
Right, I've never listened to podcasts before at all. Until after that. It was like,
Right, it's just an idea that someone else said that you captured in your mind and said, I can take this and I can use that to help my own why and my purpose. So do a quick exercise. I don't care you can't because you're holding the phone, but so everyone stand up for a second. This is going to help you find your why. So stand up and put your left arm, think about that left arm and what you love to do. This is what you love to do on this side, okay? Put your right arm out. Your right arm is what you're really good at, where your talents and skills are. Now cross your arms. Usually crossed arms is a symbol of defiance, right? You're not listening, you could care less. You're just, up against whatever it is that's being told to you, or et cetera. But now you've crossed what it is that you love, with what your talents, and skills, and abilities are. And the intersection of that cross is close to what? Your heart. There you go. There's your why. All right, sit down. Something to think about. So principle 7, self-talk. All things are possible until you tell yourself otherwise. And I love that line. All things are possible until you tell yourself otherwise. You tell yourself that it's not possible. You tell yourself you can't do it. What's the difference between I am, or I can, and I can? It's just your mindset. Tell yourself you can do it, you'll find a way. Tell yourself you can't, you'll find a way. That's called excuses. Excuses are the biggest thing that hold people back. You can make an excuse for everything. You can rationalize anything away. So, self-talk is huge. 5 things you can tell yourself daily. Today will be my day. I'm the best me there is. I know that I'm a winner. I can do it. I know I can. God will always be with me. That's what a winner would say. These 5 things. Positive. I can. I am. Today will be my day. Today is my day. I am living my day. I am on purpose. I am abundant. Then there's things that losers say. These are index cards from 5-year-olds. So if you're still thinking like this, you're like a 5-year-old. You haven't grown out of it. You're still letting the things that you thought you couldn't do when you were at this age, you're still experiencing them. Nobody likes me. I don't know anything. I wish I were smarter. I don't trust myself. I'm stupid. Not a real cool way to live your life, but yet, that's what we do to ourselves. It's what you say when you talk to yourself. And the longest conversations, the deepest conversations, and the most damaging conversations are the ones that you have in your mind. We talked about this before. If someone walked up to you and talked to you like you talk to yourself, you'd punch them in the face. You'd be, how dare you talk to me like that? What do you mean I'm that way? What do you mean that I can't do this? What do you mean that I'm a loser? How dare you? That's what you're saying to yourself. The whole concept of change your mind, change your life is to make yourself think differently so you don't think like that anymore. And you say it out loud, it's even worse. This is a nightmare. This is horrible. I'm stupid. It's never going to work out. I'm just unlucky. No, you're not. No, you're not. You're telling yourself that. You're not. No one puts you on this earth to be mediocre and average and a loser. It's just impossible. Even facing greater challenges doesn't make you a loser. It makes you a winner because you're coming back from it. It makes you stronger. You're a fighter. Right? I'm a fighter. I'm a winner. I can do anything I put my mind to. That's what you need to say to yourself. And that's why you read, and that's why you listen to podcasts and audio. And that's why you do meditation. That's why you exercise. To change this muscle in your head, to think differently on a consistent basis is the thing that will change your life. I know it because I'm living it. The shit works. My friend likes to say. It does. And it's not some voodoo, it's not some weird concept, it's not, oh my God, you're over the top. Yeah, I mean, if you talk about it all the time, because most people don't, you're overdoing it. That's okay. You can be overkill, but it's not something that you shouldn't be doing. You got one shot at this, one rodeo, one lottery ticket. If you don't cash it in, it's your fault. Shit happens everywhere to everybody. Everyone you will ever meet in your entire life is going through something. If you're driving, you look at other people in other cars. Just look at them and go, he's going through something, she's going through something. They are. And they're letting it beat them. Because they haven't figured out a way to fight back, which is they haven't started up here. Everybody wants to think from here down. No one wants to think from here up, yet it all begins right here. It's not from the neck down, it's from the neck up. If you change that, everything in your life will change. Everything. All right. Affirmations. Saying things that will empower you. I love myself. I'm a miracle. I'm a masterpiece. I'm wonderfully made. I do not have problems. I have challenges and I overcome them. Anyone who was here last month, Rob Commodore, talked about gratitude. It wasn't a problem, it was a challenge, and actually that challenge became an opportunity. I'm grateful. That means I'm happy. Money flows easily to me and in abundance, and I accept it. I don't sweat the small stuff. I can, I will, it should say I am. End of story. My relationships are a great reflection of who I am. Five to the 4 or 5 people you spend the most time with. I'm adventurous. I overcome fears by following my dreams. I feed my spirit. I train my body. I focus my mind. It's my time. Everyone should be saying it's my time. You've never met anyone in your entire life like me. It's the truth. Love that line. It sounds so cocky, but it's not, because it's the truth. Because there will never be someone else like you. There aren't 2 of you. I don't care if you're a twin, the person's still different. You will never meet anyone in your entire life like me. The opening line. Principle 8, opinions. We're going to roll through this now. Opinions, like we talked about, you just got to be leery of how you're handling them and how you respond to them, because opinions are just a snapshot of someone's life. They opened their mouth, they said something you didn't agree with. It's not a reason to kill them. It's not a reason to burn down their house. It's not a reason to march against them. It's just an opinion. Their education, their experience is different than yours. There's a movie of your life. That average movie runs about 78 years, and someone says something on one day, at one moment, at one time, and you judge that person, categorize them, box them, and dismiss them, you lose. Because you've decided that at one time in space in their life is their entire life. You didn't bother to peel back the curtain and learn about why they said what it is that they said. You didn't agree with. And when someone does it to you, their own fault, right? I mean, you're allowed to express an opinion. This is your life. This is what you've experienced and you've lived. But don't expect everyone's going to agree with it. And when you force someone to agree with your opinion, now it's our opinion. No, it means nothing. It's okay to disagree. Just respect, right? Opinions are based on education and experience. How dare you pass judgment on someone else's journey? That's what you've done. When you see someone, meet someone, and say, oh, they're a liberal. You didn't know why. You didn't peel back to find out why. If you don't agree with it, it's fine. You never met anyone else in your entire life like them. They've never met anyone else in their entire life like you. It's okay to think differently. In fact, you should think different. If you follow the herd, think like everyone else, dress like everyone else, want to be like everybody else, drive the same cars, live in the same house. It's like Stepford Wives. It's just a factory of people. No one's actually living to their purpose and their potential and finding their why and changing something up here so that the other things around them can change. Don't follow the herd. It's okay to be weird and step away. You're not weird, you're just being you. I heard a line, gratitude is not for weirdos, gratitude is for winners. People that experience gratitude, focus on gratitude, are going to win. They are. You can't lose. You can't. Not if you do it on a consistent basis. One day a year is not enough. Thanksgiving is not enough. Be grateful. No effing way. 365, 364 other days, and then you got a grateful life. Principle 9, living is giving. We all know that. Giving is impactful, empowering, life-changing. What you give, and it doesn't have to just be money. People think about giving, just got to give dollars. You give time. You give patience. You give knowledge. Knowledge is power when it's used and shared. Knowledge is not power when you just gain the knowledge and keep it inside of you. A smile. Anything, little thing that you do, saying someone's name when you meet them. Someone who's servicing you, a helping hand. And of course, love. But they're more than obviously that here, but living is giving. Life's about love. Who can I serve? How can I serve? Who can I serve? How can I serve? In the end, that's what it's all about. What we're going to be doing for other people. You're not changing yourself to be selfish, you're changing yourself to be selfless. You can give yourself away to other people. We should leave this earth with nothing left. I got a friend, after we heard this guy talk, and he's like, I want this on my gravestone. I want to die on E. I gave everything back that I had to give. You're not taking anything with you. Why not give it all away? I'm not talking about material possessions, I'm talking about your soul. Everything that you were born to be. Give it away. So you got nothing left. So when they're tossing dirt on you, you're empty. How cool is that? That's a visualization, right? When you're gone, everyone's there because you gave so much they couldn't ignore the fact that when you live, they're celebrating that life. The mourning you're passing because you have nothing more to give because you're gone, but the fact that you gave so much, they're embracing and celebrating. So, question number 10, mistakes and fear. Anyone ever here ever made a mistake? No? One hand went up. That's so great. They're such liars. So, if you make a mistake, so focus more on positive self-talk. Make a conscious effort to stop putting yourself down. Everybody makes mistakes. Practice kindness towards yourself. Stop comparing yourself to others, learning opportunities, and be patient. We all make mistakes. It's a comeback from that mistake. It's a lesson learned from that mistake. It's like it's a failure, right? A mistake is probably a failure. You got to fail to succeed. You got to fail to learn. Failure is not the end of the world. Not trying is the end of the world. Everyone makes mistakes. No one's perfect. Then there's fear. False evidence appearing real. Right? Fear is the most subtle and destructive of all human diseases. Fear kills dreams and hopes. That's the thing about changing your mind, is that you won't be as fearful. Focusing on gratitude, you won't be as fearful. Learning more about the world by reading, by listening to things, by actually talking to people, exercising, eating better. All those things are going to make you less scared. You're only born with two fears. The fear of loud noises and the fear of falling. Everything else is learned. You learned it or someone told it to you, and you believed it. Perception's reality. No reason to be scared. My birthday is Saturday, and I'm jumping an airplane from 11,000 feet at 9 a.m. on Saturday morning. And I'm not scared at all. But, you know, no one told me I couldn't fly. But that's, you know, I'm not scared, because I know it's going to be fun. I visualized it already. I've already made the jump. I've landed. I got the video, I got the pictures. It's already there. I'm not scared. I take risks. I took a risk 19 years ago going out on my own and being self-employed. At the time back then, it was face-to-face appointments. No screen shares like we do now. No, internet. I put a box in my trunk because I left television and had a house and a wife and one daughter, and put a box in my trunk, and on the top of the box it said, "Failure is not an option." Don't be scared. Failure's not an option. 19 years later, I'm still doing it, right? Successful, because I went off on my own, took a risk, and I wasn't scared to take the risk. So, anyone want to share here what scares them? Raise your hand, Ash. No? Yes? No? It's okay. Most people, no one, I asked this last one, no one shared. But that's fine. Keep your fears to yourself. Or maybe you have none, which is better, which is great. So, there's something that scares everybody. Might be some risk you haven't taken. Might be some trip you haven't taken. Might be someone you want to approach. Might be some big client you haven't called yet because you're afraid that they might say no. Right?
I have something so I went to Colorado Springs and 10 years ago I went to Seven Falls, and I've always had a fear of heights, and I could only make it up like the first flight of stairs, and so I went back down and watched this Amish family from 2 to 90 walk up and go up there. So when I was out there this last time, I was by myself, and I went out there and I made it all the way to the top.
Awesome. Yeah. Because once you face the fear and overcome it, it's the same thing I've heard about with skydiving. Is that the fear is the anticipation of it happening. Once you actually jump out of that plane, oh my God, it's amazing because you're flying, right? But it's the thought of, hey, I'm actually going to jump out of the plane. And anyone here ever read the Power of Positive Thinking, Norman Vincent Peale, or listen to it? He talks about like golf, that the lie is only in your mind, right? There's the sand and the water. You see it, and it creates this fear that my ball's going to go into the sand or the water. If you didn't look at it, you would just hit the ball. Something about that changes. You're fearful that I don't want to lose my ball in the sand or have it take a stroke because it goes in the water. You created that. The water isn't scary. The sand isn't scary on its own. You created the fear in your mind. Perception's reality. Bees. family's scared of bees. The bee doesn't want you. Right? The bee, why are we scared of bees? The bee wants the flower, the bee's just trying to do what a bee does. You're getting in its way, so it's attacking you. The bee in itself is not something to be scared of. It's just, you have to think differently. So, then there's happiness. We're going to wrap this up with this tonight, too. So, happiness, is I'm reading the Happiness Advantage, rereading it. I'm going to go over a couple things in here that I think are important. And happiness is so important when it comes to changing your life, because you want to think like that. It's a great line in the book. Happiness is not the belief that we don't need to change. It's the realization that we can. That we don't need to change, the realization that we can. So, a couple things I highlighted here, this happiness again. I highly recommend this book. Sean Acorn. The reason I picked it up again, my oldest daughter, Sophie, is at University of Maryland, and she's right now majoring in psychology. I don't know if that'll stay, but one of the courses she's taking is the psychology of happiness. Oh, that's cool. I'm going to break out my happiness book again and reread that. So, Sean talks about a couple of things that I highlighted. So, most important one here is the thought process used to be that if you work hard, you will become successful, and once you become successful, then you'll be happy. The only problem is that formula is broken. Success first, happiness second. That's not the way it works. So, more than a decade of groundbreaking research in the fields of positive psychology and neuroscience has proven in no uncertain terms that the relationship between success and happiness works the other way around. Thanks to the cutting-edge science, we now know that happiness is the precursor to success, not merely the result. The most successful people are happy people. They're happy first, then they're successful. Successful people are not necessarily happy. There are plenty of rich people who are just miserable, right? So it's happiness first. John Milton, he wrote a book on Paradise Lost. Sean says, and John wrote in the book, the mind is its own place, and in itself can make a heaven of hell or a hell of heaven. So your perception's your reality. Your mind is controlling you. You have to let it do that. But you have to take control of your mind. They did a Harvard study. It's really interesting. So back in January 2010, found only 45% of workers surveyed were happy at their jobs, the lowest in 22 years of polling. Depression rates today are 10 times higher than they were in 1960. Every year, the age threshold of unhappiness sinks lower, not just at universities, but across the nation. 50 years ago, the mean onset age of depression was 29.5 years old. Today, it's almost exactly half that, 14.5 years old. I know this for a fact because of the insurance that we do. Pilar can back me up on this because she works with me. How many young people are on anxiety medication and depression medication? You're just not living life. I'm sorry. I know stuff goes on, but when I was 25, I wasn't depressed. Look, people in different economic situations, social. That's why practicing this stuff, meditation, reading, things that are accessible to everyone. Everyone can read a book because you can get a library card. It doesn't have to cost you a dime. It's free. So don't tell me you don't have the money to buy a book. The people who can't afford books have cell phones, right? So on your cell phone, you go on YouTube and listen to something. You might download something for free. There's free stuff everywhere. So not a lack of resources, just lack of resourcefulness. So most people have never been formally taught how to maximize their brain's potential or how to find meaning and happiness. Brilliant people sometimes do the most intelligent thing possible. In the midst of stress, rather than investing, these individuals divest from the greatest predictor of success and happiness, the social support network. What makes people miserable is backing away. When you're sad and unhappy, you decide, I'm going to pull away because I just don't want to be around other people. But then you need other people to make you happy in those situations when things aren't going right. Countless studies have found that social relationships are the best guarantee of heightened well-being and lowered stress, both an antidote for depression and a prescription for high performance. Don't back away all the time when you're not feeling it. Reach out to someone. Not your 3-minute friend, because they're going to put you in a worse place, but your 3-week friend. Someone that's going to raise your life to the next level. We become more successful when we are happier and more positive. It turns out that our brains are literally hardwired to perform at their best, not when they're negative or even neutral, but when they are positive. Your brain's working on high energy and high performance when you're thinking positive, not when you're thinking negative. Brain change, and this is the whole study that, he wrote this book. I mean, he started his own course at Harvard, the happiness course. And that's why I'm pretty sure my daughter Sophie is now on a positive psychology course because of the work that Sean did. Psychology of happiness. When she told me that, I was like, this is the greatest thing ever. But, so brain change, once thought impossible, is now a well-known fact, one that is supported by some of the most rigorous research in neuroscience. Once our brains were discovered to have such built-in plasticity, our potential for intellectual and personal growth suddenly became equally malleable. So your brain can be molded and changed. You used to think that now you are who you are and that's it. You can't change it. We can rewire our brains to be more positive, creative, resilient, and productive, to see more possibility wherever we look. Indeed, if our thoughts, daily activities, and behaviors can change our brain, the greatest question becomes not if, but how much change is possible. You can change. Not just a little, but it can be endless. The most successful people, the ones with the competitive edge, don't look to happiness as some distant reward for their achievements, nor grind through their days on neutral or negative. They're the ones who capitalize on the positive and reap the rewards at every turn. Positive mindset will give you a lot back. The benefits of priming the brain with positive thoughts don't end at childhood either. To the contrary, studies have found that across the board in both academic and business settings, these same benefits persist through our adult lives. People who express more positive emotions while negotiating business deals did so more efficiently and successfully than those who were more neutral or negative. People who put their heads down and wait for work to bring eventual happiness put themselves at a huge disadvantage, while those who capitalize on positivity every chance they get come out ahead. And lastly, he talks about these activities you can do, like meditation, to bring happiness. Take just 5 minutes each day to watch your breath go in and out. Minutes right after meditation, we experience feelings of calm and contentment. I wonder where I learned that. After meditating, we experience as well as heightened awareness and empathy. And research even shows that regular meditation can permanently rewire the brain to raise levels of happiness, lower stress, even improve immune function. Guy's backing up my shit, right? Or maybe I'm backing up his. Find something to look forward to. Often the most enjoyable part of an activity is the anticipation. If you can't take the time for vacation right now, even a night out with friends, put something on the calendar, even if it's a month or a year down the road. Anticipating future rewards can actually light up the pleasure centers in your brain as much as the actual reward will. Creating acts of kindness. If you want to reap the psychological benefit of kindness, make sure you do these things deliberately and consciously, not unconsciously. Infuse positivity into your surroundings. Making time to go outside on a nice day also delivers a huge advantage. One study found that spending 20 minutes outside in good weather not only boosted positive mood, but broadened thinking and improved working memory. People goes outside all the time, right, at work. You're always walking outside. You feel better. So, physical activity can boost mood and enhance our work performance in a number of other ways as well, by improving motivation and feelings of mastery, reducing stress and anxiety, and helping us get into flow. That locked-in feeling of total achievement that we usually get when we're most productive. So, all these different things can help, and then the bonus here I'll leave you with is this, what he says. So, because our brain's resources are limited, we are left with a choice. To use those finite resources to see only pain, negativity, stress, and uncertainty, or to use those resources to look at things through a lens of gratitude, hope, resilience, optimism, and meaning. In other words, while we of course can't change reality through sheer force of will alone, we can use our brain to change how we process the world. And that in turn changes how we react to it. Happiness is not about lying to ourselves or turning a blind eye to the negative, but about adjusting our brain so that we see the ways to rise above our circumstances. Everyone you ever meet in your entire life is going through something, as are you. Rise above your circumstances. That means that's the core of change your mind, change your life. If you can change the way you think and see the world and do it on a daily basis, things are going to change. So, get happy, right? So last thing, in terms of the principles, I'll do two things real quick, but money is a terrible master but an excellent servant. Money makes a lot of people happy, but money is something that you have to focus on because it's a tool to create change. So gotta cash in on you. And thinking about money and your thoughts about money are important. You gotta think it in a positive way. All the money's out there that you need in the world, you just gotta attract it to you. Pretty simple. Change the way you think about it. And then there's music. So, music is life, right? Bono's got a great line. Music can change the world because it can change people. It can change the world because it can change people. Theme songs. I said everyone should have a theme song for their life. And it can change over time. My theme song this past month, I mean, this is my all-time theme song, They Can't Stop Me Now, Rod's story. It's a biographical song about his life and about how he started small, he got big, and because he put in the work, something happened called Maggie May, and that song changed everything. He had to play in the pubs and the clubs, and he told he wasn't good because his nose was too big and his hair was too big. He didn't dress right. Next thing you know, he keeps working at it because he loves it. And he couldn't give it up. His soul spoke to him. Care, Kid Rock is a song I found. I'm going to see Kid Rock next month, and it's a great song. I played it at the beginning of this meetup. Be With Me by a group named Old Dominion. Any song from Michael Jackson. That's been my month. Anyone here want to share their theme song?
What about Meghan Trainor?
Meghan Trainor, she's coming up again. So, that was in the beginning there, but yeah, Meghan Trainor. My daughter Emily, I drove with her to the beach back and forth this past weekend. She's a great DJ. Great DJ. So I learned so many more songs just having her play Spotify. So, it was great. And she brought me back to Meghan Trainor. I forgot about the song I'm about to play. So, but music is life, right? Who here doesn't listen to music? Doesn't listen. Everyone listens to music, right? Does it change your mood? Does it make you think differently? It's okay if it makes you sad. That's an emotion you need to experience. Also makes you happy. Also makes you, want to dance. So, the next meetup, by the way, is going to be Thursday, October the 11th, not the 4th. That's what it says right now on the calendar. But I forget the $10. But I'm not here the 4th. I'm going to be away in New Orleans listening to music with my company. But so my question is, what can make you feel better? We're going to wrap up the live thing right now. Bye. Thanks for watching. And we're going to live.
Oh, yes, absolutely.
I actually just became a member of your meetup.